Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is race number 5, in season number 6 of the NOFSRL Turkey Hill Truck Series. We are here at the Rockingham Speedway. It's the Cheerwine 200, and for the 6th time ever, the Turkey Hill Truck Series heads to the Rock and Thunder Alley in Rockingham, North Carolina, for a 50-lap race here today, the longest race we have ever had in the Turkey Hill Truck Series at Rockingham. And it's going to be interesting to see if pit strategy becomes an issue in this race, and that might be a factor if we get an early caution. Of course, these guys can make it on one stop, just past halfway, but if we get a caution at the right time, we could be seeing ourselves a 2-stop race, and we have seen many races before become fuel mileage races here at Rockingham. Season 7 in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, one race that comes to mind. But I'm alongside Trey Wright. Passing here at the Rockingham Speedway is a little bit difficult, and tire wear is also very significant. So if you're someone who's not starting in the top 10, what do you need to do to have a shot at winning this race here today?
Say just be very aggressive, and when it comes down to pit strategy, we have one set of pit stops. If this race stays green, it's going to be near the halfway point. You want to pit early so you can get the track position once you get back out. Try and leapfrog a lot of those guys. But this track, it races a lot like Darlington. Very hard, difficult to pass. Very abrasive on the tire with the tires. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a wild one. We're in for a good race here today, ladies and gentlemen.
It's going to be fun here on this Saturday morning. Hope y'all are enjoying your Saturday so far. We're going to make it even more enjoyable here with the Turkey Hill Truck Series from the Rock. And it's been a pretty enjoyable season for McAngelo and the Wang Wu Las Vegas winner from 3 weeks ago. Still the points leader. Is actually the smallest points lead he's had all season coming into this race. 113 points towards the championship for him. Fisher G and Zachary Fitzwater tied for second in the championship, both 5 points behind. Madison Toll, last week's winner from Atlanta, is 12 points behind, and Chase Marks 20 points behind, the ISM winner. 5th in the championship standings coming into today's event. All 4 of our winners this season are in the top 5 in points, and that means that winning these races is significant, highly significant, towards winning a Turkey Hill Truck Series championship. We're going to have to see who gets the win here today. Dan Park in the number 2, starting on the pole position. Alongside him, last year's championship runner-up in Andrew Ross. Looking for his first win of the season for Railfan Motorsports. Skylar Perry alongside Dale Lightning. A couple of rookies right there in row number 2. Our points leader, McAngelo and the Wang Wu, alongside Matt Tuck in row 3. Nick Smith and Owen Miles in row number 4. And in row number 5, Trey Smith, alongside the first ever winner on Napa Fan, Jesse Turner, number 75. Gonna ask you, Trey, passing's gonna be difficult in this race, but who's gonna win here with Dan Park starting on the pole position?
I think Dan Park is going to be the one ending up in victory lane. Passing is extremely difficult at this track, and I'd say Park, he's had a strong truck all weekend long. He's going to be the one to end up in victory lane. We're down here in the North Carolina mountains. It's green flag here at the Rock.
Dan Park powers to an early race lead here at Rockingham. Andrew Ross with a great run on the outside of Skylar Perry to clear him for the second position. The outside lane worked pretty well for him right there. Mendez around in the 63 and upside down. And it looks like he got back on all fours, but the caution out here at Rockingham on lap 2 of the event. Matthew Brown also caught up in that one. And the number 99 of Josh Williamson as well. Been a tough season for that 99 team so far. But not a tough race for Dan Park up to this point. He's led every lap so far. He won the race back to the line. I would not expect these guys to come down quite yet. They can make it right past halfway. And with these caution laps, I wouldn't think these guys would want to set that off. But we might see somebody in the back who tries to come down and maybe plays a little bit of strategy. Maybe even some guys like Edwin Mendez or Matthew Brown. Matthew Brown, or should I say Edwin Mendez, went upside down. He just continued to roll off in the 63. I would imagine he's going to come down here to see if they got any damage to that race truck. But from our angle, he doesn't really look that bad.
A couple donuts on the side door. No real cosmetic damage, but that's not to say that there's no internal damage.
So all 36 drivers still on the lead lap. They're led by Dan Park. And a couple of guys in the back, Mendez and Zachary Fitzwater. Zachary Fitzwater almost got the win last week. We'll have to see if this strategy plays into effect for him. Of course, obviously Mendez coming down after he flipped down the backstretch. But a wild start here to the Cheerwine 200 in 2019. Dan Park, the race leader. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the first caution of the day here at the Rockingham Speedway. 3 wide off of turn number 2, Edwin Mendez smashing the outside wall, coming down on Matthew Brown, and Josh Williamson has absolutely nowhere to go, and when Mendez hits Williamson, it just shoots his car, should I say his truck, up in the air, and he barrel rolls just once. It was a very mild barrel roll, but he also hit the inside wall as well, and I think that would be the issue for the 63, not the fact that he went upside down, but the fact that he hit the inside wall in the front of his race truck. But surprisingly, a very mild accident considering we had a flip, but it might end the day for Edwin Mendez, even though he was able to drive away from that one in the number 63.
Going 3 wide, very tight off the corner, and Josh Williamson nowhere to go, and just a very, very simple rollover for Edwin Mendez. Might need to take a look at the engine. Pretty solid hit into that inside wall with the front end, but very minor accident, even though we don't really see a lot of trucks go upside down here at Rockingham. So small accident, no destroyed trucks on the back straightaway, so we'll get everything cleaned up and we'll get you back to the racing action.
Back here at the Rock Thunder Alley here on this Saturday afternoon. Cheerwine 200 action in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. Dan Park has led every lap so far. We're going to restart on lap 7 of 50. Andrew Ross right behind him in the second position. A great opportunity for him. I think he has a pretty fast race truck. He got that outside lane to work on the start. Skylar Perry, Dale Lightning, and our points leader, McAngelo and the Wangwu, looking to get a great run here today and extend his points lead. The one guy he does have to watch for is Fisher G. He's not too far behind him there. Fisher G currently 13th. We could easily see Fisher G finish ahead of him, the Wangwu, in this event. Back to racing here in the Cheerwine 200, lap 7 of 50. Dan Park looking to get a jump on Andrew Ross, and he's going to do so. A fairly good jump there for Dan Park on lap 7.
And if he does get a good jump, the high downforce on these trucks makes it very easy for them to suck on the back bumper of everybody. And as long as Andrew Ross follows pattern after pattern on that 2 truck, he might be able to suck up to that back bumper and make something happen. I don't know. Dan Park, however, seems to be pulling away from that 22.
Dale Lightning with a great run on Andrew Ross. Ross did not get a good jump on the restart, and Dale Lightning looking pretty fast for Coleman Motorsports. Coleman LaJoy, the owner of this team. Luke Rainey, the owner of Rainey Motorsports, and Dan Park. They're doing a great job right now here at the Rock. Lap 8 of 50, trying to pull away from the rest of the field. Andrew Ross able to hold the outside. It looks like that truck is fairly strong on the outside lane. Now, you don't want to get stuck there. If you get stuck there, you're going to fall back, but he seems to be able to get those short bursts on the outside lane and keep his position, but it might not happen here. Dale Lightning with a little bit of help there from Skylar Perry, and I know it is a short track basically, but the draft still comes into play considering the high downforce on these machines. And number 45 is also going to get around Andrew Ross. Skylar Perry up to the 3rd position as Dale Lightning clears for 2nd. Dan Park, however, liking what he's seeing, as those guys seem to get a little bit smaller in his rear view mirror.
Lightning has cleared this little skirmish that these 3 trucks had, and he's getting a little bigger in that 2 truck mirror. So everyone's starting to get spread out, and Dan Park is starting to drive away from these guys. But Dale Lightning is hot on his heels. He's got top.
One guy you got to watch out for here as this session goes along, as this run goes along, is McAngelo and the Wangwu. That 78 looks pretty fast, and he's got a run to the inside of Andrew Ross. He's up to 4th. And we all know that this truck is really fast. Of course, they've been leading in the points since he won in Las Vegas, and he might just have a threat to win his second race of the season. However, Dale Lightning was able to close in there on Dan Park. The top two have pulled away from the rest of the field. We're going to have to see if Dale Lightning has anything for the number 2 of Dan Park. Skylar Perry holding on the third with Wangwu right behind him. Andrew Ross trying to get some of the work on the outside right there. Eli Bright way up the racetrack in the outside wall just a little bit. And he's going to fall back in that number 5 machine.
It's a little give it a little kiss, nothing much. And Owen Miles had to get way out of the gas right there.
And this is a momentum racetrack here, the Rockingham Speedway. If you step out of the gas just a little bit, you're going to lose a ton of momentum. And you got to hit your mark. If you don't, you're going to fall back. And that's what we see here. And for the race lead, Dale Lightning got a run to the inside of Dan Park. I believe he's going to take it away from him right here on the inside. Dale Lightning, new race leader here in the Cheerwine 200. And Coleman Motorsports looking pretty strong right now. Dale Lightning leads lap 13.
Dan Park, within the next couple of laps, is going to be able to suck up to that back bumper with this high downforce package. He might have something for that 31 team. So we're going to have a nice little dogfight for the lead. And Skylar Perry is going to try and see these guys skirmish, and he's going to try and get up here. Along with the Wangwu in that 78.
Number 78 is also a strong truck, but we're starting to see these tires wear out a little bit here at the Rock, and that's where passing gets a little bit difficult. But we might see these guys close back in, especially if they stay single file like this. Andrew Ross fell back to 5th. Nick Smith, great run for him in the number 44. How about Nicholas Samadio? Number 7 machine there for Gardner Motorsports. And you're going to get passed right there by Matt Tuck. Jesse Turner behind all these guys as well. And Turner going for a little bit of redemption here at the Rock. So last year in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, season number 7, he was a dominant driver along with Daniel McMillan and Patrick Smith, and unfortunately had to come down the pit lane with just a couple laps left. Of course, it happened to him a lot in season number 7 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, but he'd like a little bit of redemption here at the Rock, and we'll have to see if he can find a way to the race lead like Dan Park. Got back around Dale Lightning right there, and that number 2 truck is strong. Watch out for him. Started on the pole. And so far, he's led the most laps here in the Cheerwine 200.
Dale Lightning, he's going to do the build up some momentum within the next couple of laps. So they're going to keep switching positions, like trading stocks, to use a Paul Foddy quote right there. Just waiting in the wings, waiting for these guys to go side by side for just a little bit longer and try and make this a 3-truck battle here at the Rockingham Motor Speedway.
Skylar Perry is about a second behind our race leader. Actually, a little bit over a second right there. And Wangwu now under fire from Andrew Ross. Andrew Ross trying to get a run here for Railfan Motorsports. Nick Smith, Matt Tuck moving his way through the field. Matt Tuck got around Nicholas Samadio. He's going for 6th now on Nick Smith. Not going to be able to get the run on the number 44 right there. Great run for Samadio on the 7. He's going to have a shot at this race victory. There's Trey Smith to the inside of Jesse Turner, but Turner on the outside with a great push in the Fight Hard Motorsports machine. Matt Tuck trying to work the outside on Nick Smith, and I believe he might get it here. Had a really good run off of turn number 4. Got to the outside of Smith, down the front straightaway, and he's going to clear him on the outside. That is a strong truck right there. If he can work the outside here, Rockingham, you got a great shot at race victory. And this is what these guys want to do. We saw this happen in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series race back in April. Brad Stover was behind the dominant guy, Seth Cole, pretty much the entire race up until the green flag pit stops occurred. And when the green flag pit stops happened, Brad Stover came in a couple laps before Seth Cole and got the advantage. The tire wear here is so significant. If you stay out on old tires just a little bit, you're going to lose 4 or 5 seconds. So you want to be one of the first drivers to come in once that cycle begins, because if you're not, you're going to lose a lot of ground. And my recommendation to a fast truck like Matt Tuck is to come down just a couple laps before you have to, and maybe get an advantage on the race leaders. Edwin Mendez, who flipped a little while ago, still on the lead lap, by the way. Zachary Fitzwater, however, with an issue, and he's 3 laps down. Had to get something fixed on the pit lane. Tough break for Zachary Fitzwater here today, after he almost won in Atlanta last week. And we got some issues right here.
Emily Anderson.
And Fitzwater's around, and the caution's going to come out right there. Emily Anderson with an internal issue, and her day is going to end right there in the number 37. So 2 problems. Fitzwater had to come down the pit lane to fix his. Emily Anderson in the number 37, stopping down the front stretch, and close battle at the line. Dale Lightning had actually closed in on Dan Park, but Dan Park will win the race back, and this is the opportunity to come down the pit lane. These drivers will not have to worry about coming down a lap before the rest of the field, because this is going to be their pit stop. They will be able to make it to the end of the race from here. They can go to about lap 27, and we have ourselves about 27 laps left in this race. So here's the opportunity. Will we see any strategy? I highly doubt it, because the tire wear is very significant. But Dan Park going to lead the field of the pit lane right here for our set of pit stops in this race under the yellow flag here at Rockingham.
I'd say at this point, this race is going to be between Park and Lightning, because they have definitely been the two dominant trucks on the racetrack. And with no green flag strategy to be played here, I think they're going to be the only two trucks that have with the best chances of winning this race. Of course, only one can be in body armor victory lane. Question is, which one is fastest?
Of course, we saw strategy play out at ISM, and we saw how that worked out for those guys who took 2 tires. Chase Marks was able to drive around them, so I would imagine everyone's going to take 4 tires, as tire wear is even more significant here. However, somebody tried something. Joe Rutkowski in the 64. Going for broke right there, and no doubt about it, he went probably 2 tires to beat out Dan Park and Dale Lightning. And I would imagine he's going to be our new race leader. He was 22nd coming down the pit lane. And Rutkowski is going to be the new race leader here in the Cheerwine 200, but I highly doubt he's going to be able to stay up there. With all those guys behind him with 4 fresh tires, there's no way that 64 is going to be able to keep out front, but he's going to lead a lap. Bonus point towards the championship for him right there. And next time by will be halfway here through the Cheerwine 200. But first, let's go ahead and see what happened to Emily Anderson to bring out the second caution of the day here at the Rockingham Speedway. Well, Emily Anderson with an internal issue. Everyone trying to scramble around her. Ace Garcia, Joshua Rush right there in the 66. And those drivers do a great job, but they're 4 wide. Jason Tucker, Madison Toll, and Fitzwaters has nowhere to go. Just barely gets in Emily Anderson, and Adam Garcia has nowhere to go in the 94. Josh Williamson back behind all of this as well in the number 99. He avoids Fitzwater. Chris Skinlart with a bit of damage in the number 12, but, Adam Garcia took a hard hit to the inside wall. Tough break there for Garcia. But either way, that could have been a lot worse. We could have had a lot more trucks involved in that accident. Thankfully, that was not the case here at the Rock.
I think Emily Anderson might have lost power, because she did come back on the on the racetrack, but just a chain reaction wreck. Everybody just arc braking, and Adam Garcia hard in the inside wall, driver's side. He's gonna be feeling that one tomorrow for sure. But pretty minor accident in this race. So step off the racetrack. So restart, but with Joe Rutkowski playing some strategy. He is pretty deep in the points, so he's going for a go for broke strategy. Definitely not going to pay out for him with the. Hey, you never know. We could get another quickie yellow, and he could be back in this race. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, Joe Rutkowski, a one-time winner in the Turkey Hill Truck Series, won at Texas World last year, and that's always a wild card race. We'll have to see if he can get this one pulled off, but if he only took 2 tires, or no tires for that matter, there is no chance he's going to hold off those guys behind him. But it could bring some new guys into the lead battle. Let's see what happens on the restart here in the Cheerwine 200 at the Rock. Back here at Rockingham, and we suspect Joe Rutkowski's going to have to come back down the pit lane. He barely got any fuel in that machine, no tires. And I would imagine these guys are going to be all over him on this restart. It'd be difficult for Rutkowski to get back to the pit lane, but I'd imagine he's going to finish a couple laps down in this race if this thing stays green. But nonetheless, he is the race leader. Did get a bonus point for leading a lap right there. Dan Park is in the 2nd position. He's been the dominant guy of this race, but Dale Lightning's been the challenger. Matt Tuck is a guy who I was watching out for before that caution came out. If we had green flag pit stops, he could have been a guy who have possibly made his way through the field. Well, he's up to 4th now. Fisher G trying to take the points lead away from McAngelo, and the Wangwu rounds out the top 5. And Rutkowski surprising us right there with a really good jump on the restart. And I'm wondering if these guys know he's going to have to come down. But right here, you can just see the speed differential And Dan Park getting stuck on the outside. He doesn't want to pass Rakowski because he knows he has to come down the pit lane. They all know he's going to be coming down the pit lane. And we got 4 wide.
Oh, this is not going to work.
We got some guys slowing down. That was Trey Smith who slowed down to avoid Rakowski. And that was a great job out of Trey Smith to avoid any contact. But back to the race lead. Dan Park able to survive. Matt Tuck is second. Fisher G is now third. McAngelo Nwangwu is fourth. And now Dale Lightning trying to hold on for fifth. Eli Bright behind him. Lightning will clear and remain in the fifth position. But watch out for Matt Tuck in the number 98. He is now in a position to possibly find a way around Dan Park for this race victory. But Fisher G with a great run off of turn number 4.
And that was just absolutely incredible that all those drivers were able to get out of that 4 wide situation. We got 3 wide in the back, someone's in the wall, and Dan Park is just motoring away in that 2 truck.
Fisher G to the inside of Matt Tuck for second. Matt Tuck might have used up his stuff right there. He had an opportunity to make a pass, but it almost seemed like it was a driver's agreement not to make any moves while Rakowski was coming down. And they all knew he was going to be coming down the pit lane. Matt Tuck did not want to get stuck on the inside of him while that was happening. So Rakowski finally off the pit lane right there. He is a couple laps down. We see Adam Garcia coming back down the pit lane. But Dan Park now really in a good position to win this race. But it's far from over. Still 20 laps to go. And that is plenty time for Fisher G to move his way to the race lead. But how about McAngelo Nwangwu? You know, Fisher G is the guy battling with him in the championship right now. He does not want him to take the points lead at the end of this race, but he's going to lose a position right there. Matt Tuck to the inside. Going to take third away from the Nwangwu, or at least attempt to do so. And the Nwangwu with a great run on the outside. But either way, Rakowski's a lap down. Emily Anderson 2 laps down. Adam Garcia 2 laps down. And Fitzwater 3 laps down. Everyone's still in the race, however, even though he had a car flip upside down, a car completely stop on the racetrack, and a car have an issue on the pit lane. Everyone's still in this thing, even though they're not all on the lead lap. But this guy is second lead on the rest of the field. Dan Park looking to become the second pole sitter this season to win a race here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series.
Incredible performance. He had a strong truck all through practice, all through qualifying. Qualified that thing on the pole. And I think if nothing else crazy happens, he's going to motor away with this. But however, Fisher G still can't suck up to that back bumper of that 2 truck with the high downforce package, so you might never know. You never know. You never do indeed know how this thing is going to play out. But I'd say the ball is definitely in court. It is his court.
And he pulled away a lot that last lap by close to 0.2 of a second. But it's still far from over. These guys could easily mount a run on the number 2 machine. But with all that madness going on for second, Park was able to drive away. Adam Garcia back down the pit lane again. I believe he's going stop and go around the racetrack. Tough break for him. But Fisher G trying to close in. And a bit of an accordion right now. He closed it back down to 1 second. So as long as Fisher G does not have that interference with McAngelo Nwangwu, I think he's got a shot at closing in. But right now, we just don't know. Going to be 15 laps to go next time by. Matt Tuck is 4th. Eli Bright is 5th. A great run for Eli Bright. Well, you can see Fisher G's trying to get that draft on the 2. He cut down quite low down the front stretch to get behind the 2 machine, but I just don't know if he's close enough to get any effect there. Eli Bright for 4th on Matt Tuck.
I think Park definitely drives really well down the back straightaway and in 3 and 4. That's where he is. And Adam Garcia basically doing touch and goes at this point. So if Fisher G is going to want to catch him, he's going to have to bring in 1 and 2. Definitely better than that 2 truck in 1 and 2. He's going to have to mash it to the floor down the back straightaway.
I'm wondering if Fisher G has used up his stuff. He's had the battle with McAngelo Nwangwu. Probably wore out his tires a little bit more than the 2. But we'll have to see as these tires wear out if Dan Park will slow down just a little bit. He's been able to keep it at about 1.2 seconds. Fisher G's trying to stay with him. It's really difficult for that 43 to get a run. Matt Tuck's going to get a run on McAngelo Nwangwu. Nwangwu shot it up the racetrack. And Tuck's going to take the 3rd position away. And that's not good for Nwangwu. He lost another position. Eli Bright to the inside of him as well. And now Fisher G in the position to gain 3 points on the Wangwu. That'd be a 2-point gap heading him to Charlotte next week. And how about that last lap for Fisher G? Dan Park really slowed it down, and now Fisher G within half a second of Dan Park, just like that.
Dan Park, he was trying to save his stuff for the long run, and I think he saved a little bit too much, and here comes Fisher G. But I think Park's thinking, oh no, here comes that 43. He's getting larger and larger in my rear view mirror. I better use up a little bit more of my stuff.
A part of me is wondering if Adam Garcia got in the way of Dan Park and slowed him down. We've been seeing him do those touch and goes. And I just don't know how much of an effect that's having on the battle for the race lead. Matt Tuck is back in contention within a second of the race leader. It seems like Dan Park has regained a bit of speed right there, as Fisher G lost about 3/10 that last lap. Matt Tuck might have a shot at getting around Fisher G for second. If he can get around Fisher G, he's going to have a shot at Dan Park for the race win. Eli Bright up the 4th. Nwangwu is in 5th. Then we got Andrew Ross, I should say, in the 6th position. Nicholas Samadeo in 7th. Great run for Mr. Edge. Alexander Rowe, Jesse Turner, and a battle going on for the 10th position between Agar Barreto and Nick Smith. Barreto taking it away from Nick Smith at the moment. Back to the race lead. And Dan Park holding on. Oh, Edwin Mendez!
This might bring out a caution.
If he can get down on the apron, it will not bring out a caution. He is on the apron below the yellow line. Yellow out at Rockingham for Edwin Mendez, and that is exactly what Dan Park did not want to see, because I think if this thing stayed green, he would have been able to keep the lead, but he's going to have to maneuver one more restart here in the Cheerwine 200 to come home with this race victory. He's led the most laps in this race so far, but Fisher G and Matt Tuck have been two of the fastest guys out there other than Dan Park, and they are going to have a great chance at possibly winning this race. But we obviously know what the caution came out for. It was for Edwin Mendez stopping down the backstretch. Thankfully, it did not affect Dan Park or any of those guys. At least it didn't wreck them, I guess. But it will affect those guys in some way or another, as we will have a late race restart here in the Cheerwine 200. So now, who do you think is going to get this win? We saw Fisher G close in quite a bit there. Matt Tuck also with the fast race truck. Do you think they're going to have anything for Dan Park on this restart, or will Dan Park drive away into the sunset for the race victory?
I think Matt Tuck, out of these three trucks, I believe he is the strongest. He was pushing Fisher G up to the 2 truck, and they may have catched him. They may have had a late race rally for the win, so I think if he can dive down to the inside and get a good run, I think he's got a really good shot at winning this race.
So we'll have to see if they can close in on Dan Park. Already our third caution of this race, but it wasn't on the Wreckfest like the Krispy Kreme Series at Toledo last week. We've had a lot of green flag racing in this event, but it's been a fun one from Rockingham. Oh, Matt Tuck with an issue!
Oh, there we go.
Oh, my goodness. That is at the absolute worst time for that to happen for that team. That is going to give an opportunity to Eli Bright. He's going to be in third now, but what a heartbreak for Matt Tuck. Running third with a shot at the race victory on the final restart. Blows an engine just before we go back to green.
That is just terrible for that team. That's the third mechanical issue in this race. Pretty weird race. No damage-related wreck DNFs. Only three mechanical issues.
Edwin Mendez did flip over. I'm believing that his mechanical issue was related to that. And he still got back out there. And Emily Anderson also got back out there. The only guy who's actually going to fail to finish this race will actually be Matt Tuck. Because we still have 35 guys out there. Adam Garcia still going around doing the stop and go. Hopefully he does not get in the way of our race leaders in this final restart. But you see him 8 laps down. It's actually possible that Matt Tuck could still finish ahead of him. But at this point, it doesn't matter too much. He's going to lose a ton of points that he could have gained in this race. And he's not going to get those points. But Dan Park trying to hold on. Fisher G will be second on the restart. Eli Bright, Andrew Ross, and Nicholas Samadeo is now 5th. Watch out for this guy, comes out of nowhere to win these things. Just watch out for him. We'll have to see. So now who do you think is going to win? Your pick, Matt Tuck. Blew an engine. He's out. Who's going to get this race win in these final 4 laps at Rockingham?
I think the cards are the odds are definitely in Dan Park's favor. His biggest competition is out of the race. Fisher G seemed to use up all of his stuff. Right now, Dan Park is thinking, it's my court. It's my court. Nobody else can play on here. It is my court. And he's going to try and prove that that Rockingham is his court. I'd say he's got all the aces. Unless Fisher G's got a royal flush or something like that, I think is going to be Park getting in victory lane.
Of course, Fisher G, the only driver top 7 points coming into this race without a race victory. He wants to take the points lead away. He's ahead of Nwangwu by 4 positions. If he gets the win and Nwangwu stays where he is, Fisher G will be your new points leader. Park, G, Bright, Ross, Samadillo, green flag, 4 to go in the Cheerwine 200. Dan Park trying to get the jump on Fisher G. Andrew Ross for 3rd on Eli Bright. That's good news for Fisher G. If they battle for 3rd, G's going to be able to close in on Dan Park for the race win. Samadillo up to 4th now in the number 7. They're coming around to 3 laps to go here at Rockingham.
Gonna need to follow on the tire tracks to that 2 truck. Try and suck it to the back bumper and try and make a pass for the lead. 3 to go. Samadillo is going to try and join this party. It's going to be interesting to see what he does as Andrew Ross falls back.
Here comes Fisher G. A really, really good run off of turn number 2. Will he peek to the inside? Yes, he will. This will open the door for Samadillo to possibly have a shot at this race win. They're side by side, and Fisher G takes it away from Dan Park. 2 laps to go in the Cheerwine 200. And I think it's going to be between these 2 drivers. Samadillo still in the side-by-side battle with Andrew Ross. But Fisher G trying to get his first win of the season, trying to take the points lead away. Dan Park is here, though, in the number 2. Will he get a run back to the inside? Yes, he will.
Oh.
Next time by, it's the white flag in the Cheerwine 200, and Dan Park does not want this one to slip away. Here comes Samadillo in the number 7. A really good run through turn number 4.
Think that's going to put Fisher G on the outside.
Oh, man, Samadillo has the inside. Fisher G on the outside. Will Samadillo get a run on Dan Park? They're all on the number 2. Samadillo still in the side-by-side battle. Will he peek to the inside of Dan Park?
Gonna need to do it here. I don't think he's gonna do it.
He's not gonna get there. Samadillo still side-by-side with Fisher G, but he's got to run. Will he do it? I don't think he's got enough. Dan Park will hold on and survive to win the Cheerwine 200. And let me tell you, my friend, he earned that one. He had to battle Nicholas Samadillo and Fisher G. But in the end of it all, he got it off of Samadillo. I cannot believe how he pulled that off. They were all over him.
Oh, that was insane. I think if Samadillo had one more lap, he would have got him. And Nwangwu, he finishes 4th, so he will still retain the points lead by
4 points. By 4 points out of Fisher. Actually, by 3 points. Excuse me. Fisher G did lead a lap there, so Fisher G gets a bonus point. But oh my!
And Park, like you said, he deserved to win this race. He had to hold off one of the biggest veterans on Napa Fan, as well as Fisher G for a little bit. Looked a little gloom with the coming to 2 to go, but he definitely earned that thing. Congratulations to Dan Park and that entire team on winning this race. Nicholas Samadillo.
I will say that's Samadillo's 2nd straight top 5 that came out of nowhere. Last week, he took fueling in the last stop, and of course he had pit stops right at the end of last week's race at Atlanta, and he ended up finishing in the 4th position. Samadillo almost won this race, and came out of nowhere to finish 2nd. But Dan Park holding on ahead of Nicholas Samadillo, Fisher G, McAngelo in the wing with a great run, and Andrew Ross in 5th. Great runs for Jesse Turner and Alexander Rowe, Nick Smith, Agar Barreto, Owen Miles, the top 10. And oh my goodness, Trey. How do you put that one all in the words? Those were some intense final few laps.
Oh, my heart was pounding so bad. I had no idea who was going to win this race. With Matt Tuck blowing up, I thought Park was a surefire way, but then it appeared that Fisher G didn't use up all his stuff. Cooled down his tires a little bit on the restart, so he got a little bit more grip. And he just came in there like a rocket, sucking up without a high downforce aero package. Took the lead for a little bit, but exact same thing. And then to go back to the lead with one to go. It's Sam Adio charging up there like a rocket. Nearly got there. If he just peeked a little bit to the inside, I think he would have had a decent shot at winning this race. But off 2 or 3 guys to win this race in the final 4 laps. High pressure situation. It was cold as ice. So, and Park, really, really, really good job by that team.
And it was definitely an intense race there. So much to say about those final 4 laps, but the guy who led 43 laps in this race still happened to win. And I didn't think it was going to happen when Fisher G got around him. But Fisher G still had a great day, only 3 points behind McAngelo and the Wangu, as you see. And with that win, Dan Park, 16 points behind now. He's going to throw his hat into the ring of the championship. And then we're only on race 5 of 18, but, you know, we're starting to really see these guys shape up. The Wangu and G especially have been up in the top 5 almost the entire season so far. Madison Tall, great run, 120 points for her, 26 points behind. She lost a little bit of ground there. Nicholas Samadio, 2 straight top 5s. He's now 5th in the championship, 30 points behind. If you take a look at the rest of the points right there. And oh my goodness, that was fun. That was fun. That was probably the best Final 4 laps we've ever had at Rockingham before. This place can give you a good race at times. But, oh boy. It's got me all tongue-tied now. Dan Park, the race winner next week. Thought that was fun. That's the fun of the K&N 200 at Charlotte, and you never know what's going to happen there. It's a 34-lap race next Friday night. It's going to be fun to see who gets it done on that fast 1.5 mile racetrack. And then afterwards, we go to Watkins Glen, which is the only road course race of the season. That's 2 weeks from now on October 26th. But next week, the K&N 200 from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. I have to see how it all goes down at the Charlotte Motor Speedway next Friday night after this one. Great week to be in North Carolina for the Turkey Hill Truck Series. Let me tell you that, because I think we're going to get another great race. And Dan Park actually won there earlier this year. This is actually Dan Park's 4th win of the year. He's won twice in the Throwback Series, won an IndyCar Series race. One of those Throwback Series races that he won was at Charlotte back in May. So watch out for Dan Park. He might get another Charlotte win this season and put himself in the points lead. But either way, we thank you guys so much for watching here on this Saturday morning. That was a great race, and hope you guys all enjoyed it. And we'll have another great one next Friday night from Charlotte. Thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations to Dan Park on his race victory on behalf of Trey Wright. We'll see you guys later for the K&N 200 next week right here on Napa Fan. I will see you guys later.
Alright. Street lights are blending with the pale moonlight.